So why is Turkey so afraid of Israel? Why is President Recep Tayyip Erdogan so scared of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? Let's raise the black and let's find out. Hello guys, my name is Stavros. I'm a professor of international relations and an advocate for democracy. We're going to be talking about Turkey versus Israel because according to the president of Turkey, it seems that he's really afraid of what this enemy, allegedly, of his country, Israel, is going to do against modern-day Turkey and its borders, actually. So this is, an interesting topic to discuss. This is a free channel, so we're going to be speaking our mind and we're going to be explaining some interesting points regarding Turkey, Israel, and Kurdistan. First and foremost, we're seeing the Prime Minister of Turkey actually talking against his fellow leader of Israel, and he is actually comparing Prime Minister Netanyahu to Hitler, which is really, really harsh and hardcore, if I may add, considering the history of Israel at the hands of Nazi Germany. So he is trying to make the case that this regime, this Netanyahu regime, is a Nazi regime. And he also said, quote, that as the common alliance of humanity stopped Hitler, Netanyahu and his murderous network will be stopped in the same way. Or so he would like to see that happening. Well, a couple of points here. First, the Prime Minister of Turkey has been really, really toxic and offensive in his comments against Israel. And truly, he has been really, really afraid of Israel after the successes that Israel had the last couple of weeks against the leadership of Hamas, the leadership of Hezbollah, especially after killing the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah. The leader of Turkey has been really, really skeptical and even afraid at times. Maybe, he is exposed. Maybe he could also be a target. So this is also personal for a man who is really an autocrat. He's a tyrant of the people of Anatolia today. And the people living in Anatolia are not only Turks, but Turks are also subjects to this tyrant, but also there are Kurdish people, there are Armenian people, there are Assyrian people, Greek people as well, that they're suffering from his brutal and oppressive regime. Also, he is saying that this country is an occupying force in both Palestine and also now Lebanon, but he doesn't remember. He pretends to forget that his country is the biggest invader and occupier in the region. The Turks illegally and brutally invaded Cyprus in 1974. They committed heinous crimes, barbarities and inhumane crimes, pillaging, raping, and at the end of the day, they never left. They stayed in Cyprus and they are an occupying force 50 years now, again, trying to commit more crimes in the region. They have been, affecting other countries. They have been invading in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, in Armenia, in Artsakh, also known as Nagorno-Karabakh. This is the largest occupying force globally. This is the #1 invading and inhumane force, I would say, this regime in Ankara. So how dare they talk? Because, nobody's is silencing them. There's no political force to tell them that they're not the ones to talk because of their past and current behaviors. But, this is one part of the story. The other one is, what is Turkey really afraid of? Because again, this is, they're trying to make the case that this is a brutal regime in Israel. And also, interestingly, the Turkish Prime Minister, he said, quote, that the Israeli leadership, seized with delirium of the promised land and driven by religious fanaticism, will turn to our homeland after Palestine and Lebanon. What is he saying exactly? That he thinks that Israel and Netanyahu will invade Turkey, will attack Turkey? This sounds crazy, right? But yes, truly, this is what the Turks are afraid of right now. This illegal regime, which is Turkey in the region, this Ankara regime, the neo-fascist regime, or Islamo-fascist regime of the Justice Party in Turkey, Justice and Equality Party of Erdogan Party, they are the ones that actually realize what is cooking, what is brewing in the Middle East. And I would like to explain this for everybody, because this is a major development that we may see expanding and unfolding in the area. So the biggest problem here is the Kurds. Kurdistan, the historic Kurdistan. This was a historic country that was supposed to be created after the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire. There was a treaty, the Treaty of Sèvres, which was actually the treaty that gave birth to this country, historically accurate country, the country of Kurdistan. But because of the revolution of the Young Turks and the revolution of Mustafa Kemal, the Turks tried and successfully managed to annul the treaty, and they signed a new treaty, the Treaty of Lausanne, which was the one that foiled any hopes of the Kurds for their own country, unfortunately. But still, the topic of Kurdistan is covered only by the Treaty of Sèvres, and this treaty was actually, it was not ratified, but it was signed by the Sultan. So it has some legality still, at least for this topic, which is not covered by the next treaty, the Treaty of Lausanne. So let's talk about what the Turks are afraid of. They think, first of all, they think that the US is the same enemy, the same demon or devil like the Israelis are, so they're one and the same. And they're seeing that the US invasion in Iraq was the first, nail in their coffin, in the coffin of modern Turkey, because they saw the creation, the emergence of a new Kurdish entity inside northern Iraq, based in Erbil and Suleimaniya. This is the southern part of the historic country of Kurdistan, which is historic and legal necessity and just necessity to be established. So the southern part of this country, the Iraqi part, was established after the Americans invaded, they deposed, they killed Saddam Hussein, and they created this Iraqi Kurdistan. After that, we saw the civil war inside Syria. And according to the Turkish logic, again, this was also an effort by the US and the Israelis supporting the civil war. So a new Kurdish, part of that country would be created as well. And now we do have this new this new Kurdish Syrian territory, the so-called Rojava in the northern eastern part of Syria. This is a progressive. I would say it's a small state within Syria, and it's really progressive. They are truly democratic. We're talking about direct and participatory democracy, liquid democracy, in the sense that we don't even know in the West, besides, I guess, Switzerland. People are truly equal. They participate. They have rotations, and everybody can basically legislate and vote. So they're truly progressive. In the heart of the Middle East, Rojava, the Syrian Kurdistan part, is really a huge success for democracy and a lesson to us all. So this is the second part of Greater Kurdistan, the country of Kurdistan. The next part is the Iranian part. The western part of Iran is actually the eastern part of the historical land of Kurdistan, and there are many Kurds in Iran as well. So the Turks are seeing that the Israelis, what they truly want, they sincerely, they just want to destroy and dismantle the so-called Islamic Republic. And, we will have some new states emerging from that, such as the Azerbaijani part and the northern parts, Baluchistan, maybe an Iranian part, and also a Kurdistan, an Iranian Kurdistan, which is going to be, again, independent. And that will be the third Kurdistan. We already have the two parts of that pie, the Syrian and the Iraqi. And actually, between these two, the Iraqi and the Syrian Kurdistan, there's no borderline. Even though we're talking about different countries, Iraq and Syria, because it's part of historic Kurdistan, they're Kurds, and themselves, they don't have any border. There's no checks or any other officials in the borders. It's free, essentially, to travel between one part of Kurdistan to another. So if the Turks, they're afraid of that if the Israelis attack Iran, and Iran becomes dismembered or dismantled, and there is a new Kurdistan being born there, the last part of the puzzle, the last piece, will be the Turkic piece, meaning southeast Turkey, Diyarbakir, that area also is part of historic Kurdistan, that is North Kurdistan. So they think that they're going to be next. They're going to be the last piece of the puzzle. Again, they're going to be next after Iran. That's what they're afraid of. Why do they think this is going to happen? Because first and foremost, this is a historic necessity. We need to be, for justice to be served, the Kurdish people need their own country, obviously, and this is going to happen eventually. But also, this is going to be a country. They're going to have an access to the Mediterranean Sea. Syria has some of these accesses, and that is the idea of having this country not be landlocked, so they can move also oil from the Iraqi part of Kurdistan as well through this country outside in the Mediterranean. So this is going to be a really threatening force for Turkey. Turkey is not going to be dismantled. Not only that, they're going to lose a huge chunk of their landmass because they have to. This is an occupying force inside historic Kurdish land, but also there's a necessity because this new Kurdish state, it's not going to be. They're not Arabs. The Kurds are an ancient people. You can find them in ancient Greek books like Xenophon. They're not Arabs. They're an ancient people called Kurds inside and Karduchi in ancient Greek, and they don't have any historic problems against the state of Israel. Also, they're not extremists in their religion. Some of them are not that religious. Some of them are Muslim, but again, they're pretty. I would say they're not extreme. They're really easygoing in their political and religious beliefs. Besides the idea of having their own country, and they're fighting for that, they're united in their pursuit. So because of their being not radicals, and because of them not having any historic injustice, they're not Arabs, they will be a perfect neighbor for Israel, and they will be a perfect thorn in the side of Turkey. Again, Turkey will have lost part of its territory, but also they would gain a new enemy. And this is what they're afraid of. This new Kurdistan, again, historic necessity, will create a huge blow to theocracies in the region, dark age regimes in the region, such as people who are radicals and extremists in their religion, neo-fascists like the regime in Ankara. They're repressing people, opposition, politicians, journalists. So everybody is afraid of this development. I guess this is going to be a huge win for democratic forces, not Republican forces in the sense of republics, but true democratic forces, meaning direct and participatory democracy, is going to be a huge win for any supporters of these ideas. And so, everybody who support these ideas should support this concept of having this historic necessity, this new Kurdistan country to be reborn. This is it for today's, guys. If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I will always be honest with you, and to be really, really clear and transparent. Obviously, I'm Greek, and this new country will be, I guess, and I hope, an ally of Greece because of our historic brotherhood between the two peoples. Both of us, as well as the Armenians or the Syro-Chaldeans and the Assyrians, have suffered in the genocide against all of our people by the Ottoman Turks, and this is something that modern Turkey needs to face. They need to pay for their crimes, for their violent crimes, in order for the country to heal, to find peace, and for the whole area and the whole Middle East and the Mediterranean to find peace and prosperity.